Hello everyone. So today we are going to see new operating system topics that is continued. So last class we stopped in the dual mode operation. Okay. So now we go to the next topic. So that is different type of management in the operating system. So the operating system going to manage different type. Okay. So the first one is process management. Okay. The first thing what the operating system going to manage is process management. Okay, so before going into in-depth of the process management, first we want to write what is process. Okay, so the program, whenever we write a program or a piece of code, whenever that goes under execution, okay, so we call them as a process. Okay, so we can tell a simple word whenever we have a program. Okay, it can be any program. Okay, that starts executing into the computer processor, then we call it as a process. Okay, so whenever the process is executing, okay, so whenever this process is executing, we want some resources. So whenever the process is executing, we want some resources like CPU time, we want memory, okay, we want input output devices to be accessible, and again files. Okay, all these things are required whenever the process is executing. Okay, so this is supported by the operating system. So operating system going to support how this processor going to manage this process. Okay, so there are two type of entity. Okay, whenever we say the program is a passive entity, means it is not executing it. Whenever we store the program into a computer, okay, before execution it act as a passive entity. Same program whenever under execution it will act as a process. Okay, then it act as a active entity. Okay, from the memory the processor will take it and process it, it will start executing it. So that's why we call the process as an active entity. Okay, so this everything is taken care by the OS. Okay, so now we quickly see what are the responsibilities exactly that is taken care by the OS with respect to process. So that is called as process management of the OS. The first thing is scheduling the process. Okay, scheduling means which process to execute first, which is the next process. Okay, so that is scheduling process. Okay, scheduling process on the CPU is done by the operating system. So next comes creating and deleting of the process. Okay, we're going to create the process and delete the process. So creating and deleting the process itself is done by the process OS. Okay, so then suspending, okay, we can pause in the middle, suspend the program or resume it, pause it, everything is done by the operating system. Then it'll give a process synchronization. So one process needs some data from another process, so then one process need to wait for the another process, so that is called as process synchronization. So that is also done. Then last one is it going to allow us, operating system going to help us the process in the process communication. If one process want to share a data to the another process, communication is nothing but just sharing the data between the process. So that is also taken care by the operating system. So once again I'll quickly tell, the first thing is process management comes under OS. So first we learned what is program, then what is process, then what is the relation between program and process, and what are the responsibilities. Okay, the responsibilities of OS according to process management. Okay, so now we'll go to the next topic. Okay, that is memory management. Okay, the next topic, subtopic under this one is memory management. Okay, so in memory management, what happened? So we already know the main memory. So memory, so the main memory is nothing but it's a array of words, correct? No, the memory means it's array of words or bytes. We'll have an array of words or bytes. So to store the information, we use the memory. Okay, so each one have their own address. Okay, whenever we call a memory, they'll have own address. Okay, the operating system should know this address so that it can access. Okay, it can access the data from the memory. Okay, the operating system can access the data from the memory. Okay, so the OS will going to take care of the process, so that the process needs some data, information, everything. So that is done by the memory management part of the OS. Okay, along with the process management, the operating system also will take care of the memory management. Now we'll see what are the exact responsibilities that is taken care by the OS regarding to memory management. First one, it will keep the track. Okay, it will keep the track of track, like which part of the memory is used. Okay, so it's going to keep the track which part of the memory is used by the user. Okay, so second one, it's going to decide which process and which data to move in and out of the memory. Okay, so it bother about the data and also the process. That is nothing but the program. Okay, program data, process data, and program. So to move in and out. Okay, so to move in and out, it's going to bother about move in and out. Okay, that is the second responsible. And the third responsibility is allocating and deallocating the memory. Okay, allocation and deallocation of memory is also done by the operating system. Okay, so this is all about memory management. Okay, now we'll see the next part. Okay, so that is storage management.